I was raised on a family that really valued hard work, you know. I've said many times on here, you know, I'm not Claudio, I'm not a Roderick Strong. I don't have a lot of natural talent. I don't, you know. But one thing I have more than anyone is I have determination. I have a work ethic that no one else has, and I got that from my family.
I would drive from Iowa to Chicago multiple times a week, you know, while going to school, while holding down multiple jobs, just so I could get trained by one of the better guys in the area, a guy named Danny Daniels. And I just kept going because this is something that I loved, and it's something that I cherish more than anything in the world.
Well, I was raised by my grandparents. I grew up on a farm in Othello. It's a small town, about 3,000 people. We had a cattle farm. You know, in a small farm town, there's two things to do really. You know, there's play football and wrestle. I wasn't very good at football, so I got into wrestling.
I grew up in a small rural town of about 1,000 people in eastern Iowa, in a little town called Buffalo. And as a kid, I was a huge wrestling fan. My dad and my grandpa and my uncle would take me to local shows, and you know, I was a big Hulkamaniac. My brother was an Ultimate Warrior fan, so we faced off a little bit there. And as I got older, you know, I turned into more of a Shawn Michaels fan, and then into my teen years, after my parents were divorced, and I really fell in love with wrestling. I got more into guys like Bryan Danielson, AJ Styles, and guys who were doing sorts of things that I had never seen before. And it was from there that, you know, we kind of made a bond, and we made a pact that this was going to be our dream, this is going to be our goal.
So I was raised by my grandparents. You know, I've never met my dad, and my mom's, you know, been in and out of jail a lot. So I was raised with my grandparents, and after I started in professional wrestling, you know, my grandparents there all throughout my amateur career and stuff. And when I won my first title in professional wrestling in a town called Abbotsford, British Columbia, I was driving back that night, and I got the call that my grandpa died. And that was hard because he was always, you know, there, and I want to come home and show him. I mean, I understand now that it was a small promotion, you know, and it wasn't that big of a deal, but it was just, you know, I hadn't won a title since I won my state amateur titles, you know, and yeah, unfortunately he died. To me, it's the culmination of everything. You know, I started winning wrestling championships when I was 12 years old. You know, I continued throughout high school and into college. And, you know, I've won titles all over. I won them everywhere. I won tag team titles here, you know. And, you know, to me, it'd be full circle. It'd be the culmination. It'd be something, you know, I started, you know, in this small town in the middle of nowhere that no one's ever heard of. You know, wrestling against, you know, I was 12 years old against other 12-year-old kids, and now, you know, beating the people who are the best in the world. Because that's what Ring of Honor has, the best wrestlers in the world.
It started for me when I was 16 years old. Throughout my independent career, and then into Ring of Honor. And once I got here, it was harder than anything I ever thought possible. You know, it started in March of 2008 and culminated in February of 2010, really. From my first opportunity at the Ring of Honor World Title to when I finally beat Austin Aries to become the Ring of Honor World Champion. So it was a long, hard-fought process. It's something I'm very proud of.
A lot of people talk about Tyler, you know, how skilled, how athletic he is, and he is, don't get me wrong, you know. Far more skilled and athletic than I am. But I think Tyler's most dangerous attribute is his heart. You know, you can break people's arms, you can break people's legs. I mean, you know, last month, you know, in Chicago, I did a jiu-jitsu tournament. I broke a guy's arm, you know what I mean? You can break someone's arm. It's not hard to do. You can break someone's leg. It's not hard to do. But if they still have their heart there, if their heart's still intact, they still want to win, they're gonna win. You know what I mean? And Tyler, at least as far as I'm concerned, has never had his heart broken. You know what I mean? He's always had that will and desire to keep. I mean, every time he falls, he gets back up. That's a very, very dangerous person because you can't keep him down.
Davey Richards is an interesting person because, without doubt, he's one of the most intense individuals in all of professional wrestling. He comes at you with so many different things. He's well-versed, you know, in MMA training. He's a submission artist. He comes at you with the Kimura. He's got those versatile kicks. He can pop you up. He can kick you. He can spin and kick you. And then, you know, when you thought you've taken everything he had, you thought you've gotten out of every situation, he comes off the top with the shooting star press. It's as pretty as any in pro wrestling. So Davey comes at you from every facet, from every angle, and that's why he's one of the top competitors in Ring of Honor.
Because you have two guys who are going to stop at nothing to prove. Not only that they can hold the belt and be the top guy here, but they're better than each other, you know, than one another. That's the biggest thing, you know, just to prove who's better. That's the biggest quest. The belt just signifies that, you know. The biggest thing is I'm better than everyone else.
You know, we're two of the top guys, hungry young wrestlers in the world. So the bottom line is people are going to want to see a match that's going to tear the house down, and I guarantee you we're not going to disappoint. And in the end, I'll still be walking out Ring of Honor World Champion.
To get Ring of Honor on HDNet, contact your local cable or satellite provider and ask for HDNet.